scared.
I am so
All
excited.
right. We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Booked Since the 90s book club live show for The Heir by Sophie Lark. So I'll just give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves. I think you guys know because you're on my channel, so you know who I am. But
I'm Bailey. My channel is Bailey Nicole Reads, and I do like reading blogs and TBR videos now. And that's basically it. I just do a lot of vlogs and stuff. Yeah.
My name is Justine. My channel is Under a Bookish Moon. I am currently stuck in a vlog cycle. I will not film anything else. And that's me.
Hello, everyone. I am Steph from Steph's Bookish World. And yeah, I do a lot of different things on my channel, mostly TBRs, wrap-ups, just your classic booktube videos.
My name is Felisa, and like all the other girlies, I just do a lot of reading vlogs. That's what I'm doing like right now, trying to post this, and TBR videos as well.
cool. All right. So we'll start with the spoiler-free thoughts on Sophie Lark. So first off, who has read by Sophie Lark before reading this book? Okay, cool. Now, what is everyone's ratings for this book?
I gave it 4. But it's a very generous rating. It's very generous.
I'm like scared. I'm so scared for these ratings. Okay.
Justine?
I gave it 3 because I couldn't give it a. Well, that's a spoiler. You guys know I spoil everything in the non-spoiler section. So we'll go with 3 and I'll stop.
I gave it a 2.5. And I also think that was kind of generous, to be honest.
Okay. I gave it a 1.5.
Wow.
I'm not even mad at her though.
No, I actually thought I was going to be the one that hated it the most. So I love that. Thank you.
That's what you did it.
Interesting. I gave it a 4-star. I really liked it. There were definitely things about it that I didn't like. But for a romance, I liked it.
I think the only reason that I gave it 4 stars is because she actually made me feel something. And by feel something, I mean absolute rage.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And see, that's why I could not give it a 4 because I was so mad for almost like 75% of this.
I have so many notes, y'all. So many notes.
Really? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
From just my annotations on the ebook. So
yeah. I think the beginning was rough for me.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys know anything about this book going in? I had zero idea what this book was about.
No. Like the only thing I knew is what Bailey told us, which is that this series follows the kids from the other one, and I knew that it had to do something with like mafia. But that is like my extent of the knowledge.
Yeah. I think the reason why I gave it a 4 stars is because a huge part I was not expecting a school setting, and like I'm a sucker for school settings, especially because it's like a Hogwarts kind of knockoff. So
I said the same thing.
Yeah. That's why it got like a bumped up there, but I was also very frustrated because of like there's a lot of misogyny I found in this book, which was annoying.
It was
that's
also
why I gave it
long.
Yeah, it was very long.
Like for a romance.
Because I thought it was just like on the ebook or something that it was making it super long. But then I saw the paperback. I was like,
It's like the Bible. It's huge. It's so fluffy.
But I did like it doing the school. I didn't know about the school setting till I started. And that's why I was like really excited too. I was like, oh, that's why it has like that extra half, is because it had potential. I will give her that idea.
Oh, I love like how huge of a range our star ratings are.
Yeah, nobody gave it a 5-star. We're just gonna go ahead and just say like we're not even gonna attempt to broach why it wasn't a 5-star. Like we just know. Like it just wasn't. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's very different compared to the Brutal Birthright series. Very different. And I
Okay,
feel
that's
bad.
what I was gonna ask.
I feel bad that the three of you girls read this one first, because this is not a reflection of the other series.
Yeah,
at all.
Okay.
Not at all, yeah.
It's good that you say that, because I was actually like wondering. I'm like, Bailey's hyping up like Sophie Lark. The first
Bailey talked me to buying a Kindle and reading the series. I read 5 of out of the 7 in the month. I mean, they're good.
The first series for sure is worth it. Like 10 out of 10, especially the last book, even though y'all have been spoiled for what happens. So that sucks. Because now it's like, do you really want to commit to like a 6-book series knowing that you already know what happens in the end?
But like, to be completely honest, I don't remember the parents' names at all. So I could probably go into it and be blind.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
Because it's basically the main reason that Dean hates Leo.
Right.
That whole main reason is the end. So.
Are they older in that one, or are their parents around that age that they are in this one?
So yeah, I mean, except for Dante, because Dante's like close to 30, but
yeah, everybody else is pretty on the younger side.
But his does have which it doesn't tell you this at the beginning, but it does have like a 9-year like flashback.
I was so confused.
Like at the beginning for like the first like 30% is like a 9-year flashback, and then it like shoots into the present.
I don't even know how to like create a conversation about this book.
I guess we could talk about the characters.
Yeah.
It wasn't as smutty as I thought it was gonna be.
Well, it was not, and it took forever to get there, like way too long.
So I apologize, because I'm so much better.
I think that's why I rated it a lot lower too, is because like I set myself up for failure. Like this was kind of like our smutty romance book, and I was like ready for it, and like it just didn't deliver. Obviously, like the hospital scene, I'm sure we could all agree, like yes, we were living for it, but other than that, I was just like, I think I just set myself up for failure for this one, because I was expecting so much more.
What about the characters? Like, did you guys like the characters at all? Which one was your absolutely despised character?
Dean. I hate that man.
Yeah.
He's awful. Say it. Go ahead and say it.
I hated them all.
When I first started this, I said if Leo wasn't Sebastian's son, I would hate him. But the more I read on him, I was like, I don't like you either. You're coming off, oh, I'm a Gallo, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ew, I don't like you. But I did see a lot of Nessa and Anna, so I did like her, which I know you guys don't have that background, but I liked her. Dean, I won't say such cruel words.
I'll just say that Dean is his father's son. I don't know. It was just like all of the characters, like Leo, I feel like he did have a very good like character arc, basically, where he did kind of grow and be like, hey, maybe the world doesn't actually revolve around me. And like, that's fine.
Yeah. Because I hated him at the beginning.
I definitely think my favorite part was probably the challenges. The last one particularly.
Yeah.
I think Leo came off too abrasive in the beginning. Like, I was cackling at him because he went so hard about this basketball stuff. And I was like, okay, you're good at basketball. Like, congratulations. And I think that's why I was just kind of like, And then he was having his, like, I guess his redemption arc. And I was just like, with it. I'm sorry.
No, so yeah, that's kind of how I was. I was already at that point. I'm like, okay, there's your character growth. cool, but I don't care now.
At least too, because his like obsession with basketball definitely plays a huge role into what happens in the first book of The Cruel Prince, because like his dad, who is Sebastian, was this big like basketball star, was like ready to go to the NFL.
NBA.
The NBA. Sorry. Was ready to go to the NBA, and then literally his knee gets shattered, and now his career is like gone, and now he actually has to do the mafia stuff, which he didn't want. So it makes sense, because he basically is like, oh, my dad didn't get to do it, so maybe I'll get to do it for him. But then obviously we know he didn't choose that route, so
yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that like, since we didn't know their parents, we didn't know like what was being passed down onto them. And so that basketball team, when I read that chapter, I was like, I don't think this book is going to be for me, because it was like so superficial and so cocky. And I was just like, this is going to be really hard to read. And it was kind of like superficial and arrogant, but then I like enjoyed reading it because I just found myself laughing throughout it because it was so ridiculous. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
I would say I feel like
go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I feel like her doing it in first person for each of them really did not help with the characters, because Dean, after following up Leo and the way he came in, and then Dean's coming in the same way. Well, I'm a man and nobody's better than me. It's like, I got two of these now, like I have to follow. That's why I wind up preferring Anne. Is her name Anne or Anna? What's her name? Anna more than them two, because it was just like a break from I'm the man talk so much.
But I feel like she almost had the trope of like, I'm a different girl, like that kind of thing, which like drove me nuts as well.
Yeah, she very was. I'm not like other girls.
Yeah.
I really didn't like how like Dean and Leo were so possessive of her, and like it was to the point it made me uncomfortable. But at the same time, I was rooting for Leo because I hated Dean so much. Like he disgusted me.
Yeah, Dean has his own book, and I do not know how Sophie is going to redeem him, because
there's no way
for me.
See, like, I don't know if I've really read many dark romances. So going into this, I was kind of like, is this kind of what dark romances are all about? Like having these types of like tropes and stuff like that, with like the possession and all the stuff that Dean really does to Anna kind of throughout the middle of the book. I'm like, is this kind of like what we're signing up for, or?
Yeah, and I think it kind of depends too, because sometimes it's done really well and sometimes it's done not so well. And I feel like it also just depends on like the situation too, because I feel like that whole situation with like Dean and stuff wasn't really like necessary. Like his fixation on like her was just like really weird, because he was like, I want what he has, and like he's more fixated on Leo, but he like misplaced his fixation on his hatred for Leo into his like love for her or whatever. And not saying that it was done bad, but I've definitely read it better.
Right. Dean was just so broken, and when he just has his mind set on something, clearly there's no taking his mind away from it.
And I feel like you would think, like, if he hates his dad, like, as much as he says that he did, then you would think that he would maybe want to, like, research a little bit and figure out what happened back then to make his dad, like, be the way that he is. To be like, oh, well, why does he... Well, I know that this happened, but why did this happen? I know that he hates his sister because of her husband or like whatever, but like, can we talk about why?
Right.
He's had potential to be interesting. I feel like once he was done with this whole boxing situation, that when he went home, I was like, oh, what his whole thing is gonna be, and then he turned into who he was.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the side characters in this though too. That's probably because we weren't in their heads, but I did enjoy them.
Yeah, I liked like Anna's friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, her two girlfriends that were also yeah. And then obviously we got little snippets of Miles, who is the first couple's son. Yeah. And then Miles in the second book, Miles ends up getting with Zoe, which we got to see a little bit more of her at the end there. So I think I'll continue on. Anybody else? Probably not.
I think
not
so.
in any rush.
Yeah, I think I want to go back and read the first series.
Same.
Before I continue on in this series.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. And when y'all get to book 6, y'all just have to text me be like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
When I tell you, so I was sitting at my desk, right, and I was reading it, and so obviously we have cubicles, and I was sitting at my desk and I was reading it, and I literally was like, and then I was like, poor Aaron next to me is probably like, this girl's over here having a heart attack, I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm dead.
So yeah, definitely worth the read. And then I think once you do read it, you might have a little bit more appreciation of why the characters are the way that they are, just because of things that have happened in the past and stuff. So I don't know. It's just a whole thing. I shouldn't have picked that one. We should have just been we'll just go with Prince instead. So that's on me. I take.
I mean, we all voted.
Yes, we all voted.
Don't carry it too much.
What did you guys think of her writing? Because I am similar to Steph, where I don't really read romances, especially dark romance, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But what do you guys think of her writing?
I've read a few other dark romances, and I just felt I don't know, I just felt her she was more of a cliche version of how she expects mafia kids to be, and how the mafia is supposed to be. And that was one of the things that was really hard for me with this book, because I'm these are children of the mafia, and they're behaving kind of just everyday teens or college students. So that was really and throwing me off a lot. So it just kind of made me think did you really do your research on mafia people and how that affects their children or something? Because they just seemed very cliche to me. But I hated the book, so that's that. By the way,
right with me. Would you read her previous series, Felisa? Or are you done with this?
I don't know, because I had a feeling that I wasn't going to be a Sophie Lark girl. I don't know what it was, but I was I don't think this might not be for me. So it's a big question mark. It's big, I don't know.
What did you guys think of the school setting? Did you think it would I liked the class settings, the different combat classes, and they had their strategic classes, and you also had similar to the different houses in Hogwarts, where you had the spies, the heirs, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely liked the school. That was probably my favorite part of the book, was the school setting, because you, Jess, I had no idea that we were going to get that. And then I can't remember where I saw it. It was something on your channel, Jess, or something that a review or something that I read, that someone was oh yeah, it was taken from Hogwarts, and Dean is supposed to be Draco. And
that was in the Discord.
Oh, okay, the Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember where I read it, but then I was oh, okay, that makes sense. So then it was once you start thinking about it, you compare it, and you're right. It's the houses, you have the spies, the accountants, or whatever they are. I don't even remember now. I liked that. I just wish we almost got a bit more of it, because I feel we really just dealt with because they were all like Anna, Dean, and Leo were all part of the same house, we kind of only really got what they were doing and not anything on the like other bits of the school. But I'm sure like throughout the series you probably get a bit more.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. 4 books, 4 different houses. So I'm curious to see if that we are going to get more.
Which I think there's a 5th one though that's coming out though.
Just kidding, maybe not.
Yeah, because
I think it goes throughout their years, doesn't it? Like each their like it'd be their 2nd year at school and then their 3rd year at school.
Which because it follows like different people too. Because obviously the next book follows Miles, but he's a year above everyone else, and then I think the one after that follows Dean. And then after that, I don't know who else because I feel like that's all the kids, but apparently not.
I'm curious to why she didn't just start with Miles to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I want to know because I definitely thought that guy on the cover, I was like, that's Miles. Like, that is Miles. Like,
Yeah,
so are Miles' parents the one from the like Brutal Prince?
Right,
yeah.
I mean, the Cruel Prince. What? The Cruel Prince?
You've honestly been saying that the entire
I know, and I'm just like, is this the same story?
And I'm like, do I say anything? Like, you can watch this back and you can.
Well, just like
I was like, is it called the Cruel Prince? Like, I don't know.
I wasn't confident enough to correct you, so I was just like, okay.
I'm like, maybe that is what it's called.
Oh my god. What am I on tonight? Because, oh my god. The Brutal Prince.
NFL, the Cruel Prince, like.
Oh my god. Okay, mine. I'm done for today.
Oh, should we go into some spoilers? I mean, we've kind of been talking about the whole time. But,
yes.
Okay. Spoilers. How do I get back to the chat? Oh, there we go. Okay. We have a comment here. Literary medium. Just stopping in to say hi, but avoiding spoilers. Oh,
sorry.
Sorry. But thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, we always appreciate it.
Okay. I just have to talk about the changing room scene. I like burst out laughing.
Cringing. I was literally cringing during that.
Yes.
Scene.
Yes.
Literally, like, why do they not have signs?
It didn't make sense.
Also, how did they walk in there and not notice that there weren't any like urinals or anything?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's true.
Men's locker rooms are completely different from women's locker rooms. Like,
yeah.
And also, how are you gonna like that whole scene, y'all, was taking me out of this book because they were having a whole conversation butt naked.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just like, I would have been hysterical. I would have been screaming. I would have been running. And they're just sitting there debating about, is this men's or women's? I was like, does it matter at this point? Like, at all.
Yeah, I was cringing through that whole scene. I'm like, is Miss Lark like actually writing this right now? Like, this is like terrible. Like, I didn't get the same feeling that you had, Valisa, where it's like they're just like standing there naked, because I just feel like, I don't know, their background probably puts them in a situation where like they don't even think twice about like certain situations like that. But it was just like, even just like the battle where he's like, well, I'm not leaving, and she's like, well, I'm not leaving, and then they're like, 2 girls come in and he's like, oh, well, I guess I'm actually in the women's thing, and I was just like, no, this is so bad.
Yeah.
Trying to find something.
Okay, so the scene that the thing I would just like to talk about and get out of the way is the fact that, like, right from the beginning, Anna and Leo talk about how they're like family and that they are like cousins or whatever. And like,
Mhm.
I understand that they're not really cousins. I get that. But the fact that they both, on separate occasions, said that they see each other as family and cousins. And then I'm like, this is the romance that's happening. Like, I was praying, as much as I hated Dean, I was like, please, dear God, let the smut be between like Anna and Dean. And it was not. And I am like, that was another thing where I was just like, I cannot with this book, because like, if they never even said that they saw each other that way, I would be okay with it. I'd be like, okay, they're not actually family. Like, it is what it is. But like, they literally were like, yeah, I see this person as my family, as my cousin. I'm like, what? Like, what are we reading here?
Yeah, because I remember reading the synopsis and being like, because I drew out. So obviously in the beginning there's like family tree, but like I was explaining the whole series to like one of my coworkers, and so I drew out this whole like family tree, and I was like, okay, so obviously Leo's dad's sister is married to like Anna's mom's brother, and I was like, so I mean they're technically not cousins, but like they have a cousin in common. So it's like, just the same thing with like, if her and Leo are cousins, then her and Dean are cousins too, because.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So.
And they kept calling their parents aunt and uncle. Even to the very end, he was like, aunt, uncle. I was like, this is nasty. I'm sorry. I just could not get that out of my head, because I understand like if they were doing that in the beginning, just because, you know, they were convincing themselves that like aunt, uncle, but like afterwards in his mind, he was saying, uncle so-and-so is still looking at me right now. And I was like, stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, at the dinner, at the freaking breakfast table scene.
Yeah.
That made me so on edge.
I was like, what is going on?
She didn't have to.
Also, can we talk about the epilogue? I mean, the epilogue. Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The epilogue. Y'all, am I okay? Anyways, can we just talk about the epilogue? How do we feel about that? That little BDSM
I need a refresher.
Like, situation.
I think that's
The
a
whole
little
what
trauma
situation?
from Anna and Dean. Because that just like came out of nowhere, I feel like.
I'm just confused because I was like, we didn't explore this anywhere else. Where is this coming from?
Wait, hang on. I'm in like.
Oh, okay. I was like checking. I'm not gonna lie. I would start skimming those last 150 pages.
Yeah, sorry. Can we just like recap what we're talking about?
So at the very end of the epilogue, they're at this cabin after the school year's over, and their parents have finally accepted that they're like together or whatever.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, she like, you know, at the breakfast table,
yes,
getting handsy, and he ends up going out to the woods to chop wood, and then she like comes out there trying to sneak up on him, and then he ends up tying her up and doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, where did this come from? Because we did not explore this earlier on.
Mm-hmm. It was out of character. I will agree. From what she was like setting up for, it did seem like completely out of character. But she put us through 500 pages, so I guess she wanted to lead the girls on something.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like Bailey and Jess, are you kind of like leaning more towards a lower rating?
I am now, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, okay, because I can tell you.
I have also nothing to compare it to. So like this is like my first one, and I was like, oh, I just don't even know. I think it's high because of the school setting. Mm-hmm. That is why. Mm-hmm. Because I hated the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And like the smut scenes were good, but they were late to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the trials were good. So there's some like good things to pull from this book, but they're also like, I didn't really pick up on a lot of the things that you guys picked up on because I think I was just trying to get through the book, and I was just laughing at a lot of the ridiculousness. But yeah, now I'm leaning more towards the lower rating for sure.
Actually, like speaking towards like getting through the book, I do remember like writing in my notes that like I was skim reading this so much because I feel like things were so over described, which is like very different for any romance that I've ever read. Like romance is usually very just like you kind of just it's a flow. You know what I mean? Like it's just a flow. And this was like there was so much description with some things. I'm like, I cannot. Like I would cut out like paragraphs and just read the dialogue because I'm like, this is adding no substance to the actual book, in my opinion.
I think that's partly too because she's trying to set up the whole like we're at this like fancy mafia school type situation, but also trying to like bring back like elements of like, because obviously when Anna was talking to her father about kingmakers and what it was like and what it looked like, but obviously he had never been, but he had been, but like he didn't attend. So I feel like a lot of it was like a bit much and a little bit unnecessary, but I understand at the same time.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if the books following this are gonna be as detailed because she's kind of already laid the groundwork in this one.
Yeah, I'd be curious too. Bailey, when do you plan to read it?
You know, that's a good question. See, because the way my TBR is set up,
I watched half of your TBR video. I didn't finish it, but I saw that you pulled some big chunky boys. Like I know A Curse So Dark and Lonely got picked again.
Yeah, she did get 5+ spins.
Okay.
So we're at 11. I haven't started not one. So who knows? I could end up picking up the next one tomorrow. You know,
Who knows?
whatever. Probably not though, but
Okay. Yeah, I'd be curious.
Yeah. What was like the most enraging scene for you guys?
Oh, the attempted rape.
Yeah. Hands down.
Absolutely. And then when he like blew out the candle, I was like, pretend that he's me. And then
oh my God.
Yes, I was like, oh, so gross. And then she even thought about it too.
Yeah.
I was like,
because she like leaned down and was like, oh, it doesn't smell like Leo, so I can't do it. Like,
absolutely not.
Oh my God. Oh no, I can't.
Yeah, I underlined a lot of orange, which is hate. And I wrote when she said, and yet I am tempted. I wrote no, all the way to the end of the book. Like, no, I'm tempted.
Like, I think just kind of speaking to that, like, what did we think about the conflict as to why Anna no longer talked to Leo? Because that's kind of where the shift happened. Like, Dean roofies this guy's drink and he's enjoying himself with someone else that's not Anna, and she sees that, and then because of that she kind of gets like thrown into the other side, and she's kind of hanging out with Dean and like his kind of crew. Like, what did we think about that conflict? Because I personally thought that it was very like, you guys are all adults, right? Like, why are we making this such a big deal type of thing? But I don't know if that was just me or...
Well, and it's not only that, is that she was like, she's seen him with multiple women in the past before, so I don't understand why it's bothering her now.
That's what I was going to say. I don't understand why all of a sudden they went off to school and this infatuation between them like just grew. And I know one of them says later on, like, their families are out of it, so maybe that helps. But I mean, still, they go on vacations together. They do all these things. What is it about kingmakers that are like, oh, we're just so horny for each other, we're going to explode? And she says, like, oh, I've heard noises that only Dean have made or Leo made before. So have you heard him do things before?
Because they were both virgins, right? Like, that's what comes out at the end.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. I was done. Yeah. I was literally, that was another cringe moment. Like,
of course, you guys are both virgins.
yeah.
I mean, I
How
knew it. I
convenient.
just knew it. I had a feeling. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I wasn't even surprised. I was like, yeah, no, there's no way that they're not both like, yeah, no.
Mhm.
I just feel like I just have no shock factor anymore
Yeah.
when it comes to
Yeah.
like this stuff. I don't know, except for obviously that last one, but I don't know. I just feel like it's all just so. I feel like you read enough. Like if you read enough of them, you've read them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's like nothing against like the book or Sophie or anything, but like, yeah, I knew it. I was like, literally, and I knew Dean was gonna cut his freaking thing in the challenge, and I just had a feeling that Anna was gonna see
Yeah.
it, and I knew he wasn't gonna die. I just, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm. And I feel like because like so many things, like nobody can truly be an original with their concept. I feel like it's so important to like these characters, and that's why like for me, I was just kind of like, oh, of course you are, of course you are. But speaking on what you said, Steph, the reason why I didn't like their whole conflict thing is because in that time period, she was still looking at him as her cousin. So I'm mad.
Yeah.
I was like, you're mad
Yeah.
at your cousin for
Yeah.
having a moment with somebody. This is your cousin.
Who you see as your cousin, exactly.
Which she also kept saying, she was like, well, this isn't like him. Like, he wouldn't do that. This isn't like him. To him to just, like, get so drunk like that. Okay, well, then why don't you just be like, okay, hey, I noticed that it seemed like you might have had one too many,
Right.
Are you sure that you were making a good decision?
Yeah.
And then he could have been like, oh, well, I only had the one, so now we can solve this about 300 pages sooner.
Yeah.
And for her to hold that against him when he's in that type of state,
Right.
Yeah.
to be like, oh, you were drunk and you did that one thing, and I'm gonna hate you for the rest of your life. Like,
which I think the main reason that she was mad is because he almost kissed her.
Yeah, they had that little
path, and they were like, "Oh, we need to talk, whatever." And he was like looking at her like, "Oh."
I mean, she does like open herself up like a little bit when they're walking to the party, so it very well could have been that. But again, you had a very intimate moment with your cousin.
Yeah,
it's not okay. It's not okay.
I've literally had like the whole month, I feel like, to come to terms with the fact that they're cousins, and I just don't know if I'm over it. Like, yeah, no, I literally for about 4 days, when I realized that it wasn't following Miles and I was actually following Leo and Anna, I literally had about 4 days where I just could not wrap my brain around it. And I was just like, literally, no.
I was confused as to why he wasn't following Miles to begin with. And then when Bailey threw the whole, they're cousins at me, I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean they're cousins? Why? We had nobody else to throw into the mix here? Like, have Dean, or okay, you still want to follow Leo? Okay, great. Have Leo meet Shay or Zoe. There's an idea for you. But no, we had to keep it close for no reason.
And that had to be the forbidden love. Like, I didn't know there was a forbidden love going on or anything. I think Sarah messaged me and told me, they're going to be the forbidden love. And I was like, no, they're not. What's wrong with you? This is not them at all. So I was like, oh my gosh, it really is going to be them.
Yeah, not cool.
Has she read it, Sarah?
I think she DNF'd it. She could not make it through. And I wasn't being helpful. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, this was just not the one to start with.
Yeah.
I'm very, like, now I'm actually, like, more intrigued to kind of read Brutal Birthright because, yeah, I want to see.
Yeah, same.
Are they thick like this one too? Is this her thing, like 500-page books, or were they smaller?
No, They're like 300.
Normal.
And they're fast, right? Like they're quick.
Yeah.
I want to say
But
someone
would
was
you-
attempting murder in the first like 15%.
So would you recommend Brutal Birthright or the Mindfuck series?
That's hard, okay, because I love them for different reasons. Like, because Brutal Birthright is more like, mafia, like, yeah, like we're doing the crime thing. Like, we have like casinos and like clubs and like we own real estate and whatever. Like, we're mafia. But Mindfuck is literally just like, yeah, I hate men and I'm gonna do something about it. So it's just very like different. However, if you're like very new to the like dark romance type deal, I definitely would recommend starting with Brutal Birthright before the Mindfuck series, just because it is darker in the sense of like the trauma that happens in it. So
What did y'all think about the violence in this for being like a mafia book? Were you expecting more violence or what?
I was expecting more.
I think I was expecting more until the we got the school setting, and I'm pretty sure in the rules or something it was like you will be kicked out if you like ensue violence or do this and that. So I was like, I see one major event happening, which I guess did happen at the end when Dean tries to like kill Leo or whatever, but I was like, once that rule came out, I was like, they're not going to end their term like at the beginning. Like I wasn't really expecting much after that came out. So
I feel like that's what dampened probably this even more for me, because it was marketed so much as mafia, but then they're in this John Wick setting of a sanctuary where nobody can like kill each other in it. And speaking of that ending though, that's the thing that I kept feeling like these were some wannabe mafia children type of situation. Because even though he had like this whole redemption arc where he's a changed man, he's a team player, I was like, but he tried to kill you and you're a child of a mafia. Like, it should be on site, like over with. Like, he should be trying to kill him too. He shouldn't be like, oh, I'm just gonna let it go. And I was just like, are you a mafia kid or not? Like, I just need
like
to
literally
know.
as soon as they set foot off that boat, like it should have been on site. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I guess he's trying to learn from his father's mistakes or whatever. But his mistake was letting him go. That was the mistake. Like even Seb, like the dad should not have been alive. Like, just plain and simple. Like, he just point blank period. Like, he should have just not been alive.
Because in the beginning he tried to kill those people, those addicts that were trying to attack him. And, like, he stabbed one of them and was like, that's the way life goes, and moved on. I was like, where's this energy? And when it's like at the end of this book.
Do we have anything else to say about this book?
Definitely, if you're gonna read Sophie Lark, don't read this one first.
Yeah.
Yes. Lesson learned from this. All right. Well, if you don't have anything to say, then I guess that is it. I'll take this banner down. Yeah. So that was an interesting conversation about that book. Hopefully so this month in March, we're reading Emma by Jane Austen for Women's Month. And then we also have a Discord with all spoiler-free and spoiler chats. It's linked down in the description box below. Yeah, but that is it, I think, if anyone else has anything to say. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great night. And yeah, bye.
Bye.